Hi kids, welcome to the art garden. First of all, I want to thank you so much for showing me your Matisse pictures. I love looking at them. They're original, colorful, and I love the shapes that you cut out and arranged. Today we're going to be talking about animals and art, and you're going to be drawing your own animals. But first, let's look at some animals that famous artists have painted. So the first one we're going to look at is Mary Cassatt. Here is this little girl and her dog. Mary Cassatt loved to paint every day. People kind of doing what they did. This one's a portrait. You got a woman sitting with her dog, and this is a long time ago, so you can see the clothing is different than what we wear today. Here's Renoir. This is the face of a dog. And what are the differences between this one and the one we just saw? Color, shape, the choice of doing a face over the whole scene. Let's see. The next one is Horses by Degas. Degas loved to paint things that moved, things with movement, ballerinas, horses, and again, look how different. Look at the lush green background. Very different than the other two pictures we looked at. Let's look at two more. This is Gauguin, and we have a dog sitting, lying down. Totally different. Different colors, different shapes, and a different story. That's a fun thing to do, is to go to the library, to look at art books, and try and figure out what's the story, what's happening there. And actually we have two more. We're going to look at Picasso. This was during his blue period. He painted everything in blue. So that's not it. Here we go. The boy and his dog. Look at that. Everything is a different shade of blue. Totally different. And we don't have a story in the background. All we have is the boy and his dog and a color in the background. So look at all the different ways the animals can be painted. And the last one we're going to look at is Matisse. So recognize this? Here's Matisse, fish, colors, shapes, very original. So those were the artists I chose to show you guys. And what we're going to do now is talk about drawing animals. Now sometimes when I've heard kids say, I don't know how to draw, I can't do this. And so I'm going to give you some technique, some tools to help you learn to draw more realistic. And one way to do that is to break animals and objects down into shapes. To look at something and say, okay, that's made of circle, square. And this is a good point, parents, if you have younger children, to stop the video and maybe talk about some of the basic shapes. So moving on, it's also helpful to look at the picture of the animal. It's great to do things from our imagination, and it's great to do artwork looking at what we're drawing. So we're looking at the penguin, and so the penguin, we have an oval, we have two triangles, a circle, another triangle, and the feet. Let's draw it. So what did I say? I said an oval, the circle, the triangle beak, triangle leg, wings, and some little feet. And there, what you have is a very basic outline of the penguin. Now you would go in and you'd put all your detail. You'd put your color, you'd put your texture, but this is a nice technique because it gives you the basic shape of a standing up penguin. Let's look at another one. Let's look at a horse. We saw the Degas horses. So what shapes do we see? I see square, triangle, and then our legs. It's a little hard on the computer to do this. So I'm going to draw that. I have the square for the body, triangle for the neck, square for the body, triangle for the neck, triangle for the face. Sorry, this one didn't come out too good. Some legs, and the tail. And while that one didn't come out so good because I ran out of space, you see you're getting the basic shapes. Now I'd make the I would make the face a little bigger. And you can do this with pretty much any animal, like a fish, circle and a triangle. It's your basic little fish. But you can make it more sophisticated by, again, adding the color, adding the texture, adding the details. So the last one we're going to look at is the cat. And here's our little cat. And we have the circle face, kind of a square body, and our tail. And that is what you're going to do. So look at animals, break them into shapes, and then you're going to draw them. And the material you're going to use is oil pastels. You can use crayons too if you don't have oil pastels, but the reason why we're using this material is because it resists paint. And you'll see what I mean by that in a minute. So here's my drawing, and hopefully yours will be more detailed, of a cat done in oil pastels. I don't know if you can see, but one fun thing with oil pastels is I put in a white cloud. So you can see what happens when I take my paint and paint over the oil pastel. I'll do that really quickly. I'm going to pick maybe 3 colors. I'm going to do a blue sky. There you go, and I paint over it. You can see what happens is that cloud magically pops up. And then I'm going to paint my cat. I'm not going to do the whole thing because that's going to get uninteresting for you. I think I'll do him orange. And again, you can see that the oil pastel pops out. Crayon does it too, but oil pastel does it even more. And then for my ground, I think I'm not going to be realistic. I'm going to make this more imaginary and do a pink. And I hope you can put more detail in your ground. There we have it. And I'll show you some that my children did. Now these are cats, but you don't have to do a cat. You can do a dog, you can do an elephant, you can do anything you like. Here's one you can see, and here is another cat. And what's cool about this is you can see where the paint resisted the oil pastels. And you know what? If you don't feel like drawing an animal today, draw anything and paint over it and see how that looks. But I hope to see your artwork on Facebook. If you have any questions, you can write them to me. Have your parents write them to me, and I will answer you, every single one of you, because I love looking at your art. I hope you have fun creating art with your parents or your friends. And also, if you're doing the art journal, I'd love to see some of what you're doing. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next week at the Art Garden.